Hey, welcome back. Now today we're gonna do a reaction to Socialist Hippie Gets Slapped with Facts by Charlie Kirk, huh? Alright, let's hop right into it. I don't wanna waste no time. Let's let a real socialist debate. He might not know his shit, but I know my shit, so let's go.
Nice and close? Okay.
And, ma'am, I want to hear from you again in a sec. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Hi. How are you? So, earlier, I heard you call Washington a den of thieves, which I fully agree with. Keep in mind, I'm going to preface that immediately. Don't agree with Democrats. However, I want to know from you, and I want to get your opinion on, why is Donald Trump any different from all the other thieves that are in Washington right now, looting and pillaging the earnings of the working class?
It's a good question. First of all, he cut your taxes. Number two, he made it easier for you to own a home. Number three, we had no new wars, which I'm sure you care about. So this is important. He actually starved the beast of the military-industrial complex.
Starved it? Really?
Yeah. Did Russia invade Ukraine?
Yeah, they did.
Under Trump?
No, but they were probably going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got a very big blood and soil thing going on in Russian politics
hold
for
on,
a while
this is
now.
important.
Keep in mind, this is 5 months ago, so to be fair, I give him that much, but the Ukraine is still, like he said he was going to end the war right when he got in office, it didn't end. They would have invaded regardless of whether it had been Trump, Biden. It didn't matter. Clearly, it doesn't matter. Putin's not listening to anything Trump is saying. One, he said he cut your taxes. If you look at, oh God, man, you guys have to go research this, man. But I know I'm not talking to anybody who's going to research, but the people that will research, you will see for yourself. Trump's tax cuts didn't cut anything for the middle class. It cut it for the wealthier class. That's what Republicans' tax cuts are. They're supply side economics. Democrats call it trickle down economics, but supply side economics is deregulate businesses and cut taxes on the wealthiest people so they can build more businesses, and those businesses will pay more to the working class. But clearly, for 30 years, the minimum wage didn't increase at all, and you've seen a decrease in people's wages happen throughout the years. So, no Republican policy has changed that. But neither is a Democratic policy, to be honest. But no, he didn't cut taxes on us specifically. He cut taxes on the wealthy. Own your own home. I would say Obama started that. Obama was the one that bailed out the banks that had the ability to give you the loan for the home. So I would go with Obama on that.
Let's talk about this logically.
It was kind of coming.
So under Bush, Russia takes Georgia. Under Obama, Russia takes Crimea. Under Biden, Russia takes the Donbass. Why is it that they didn't do anything for 4 years under Trump? I thought he was a Russian agent.
Well, I don't agree that he's a Russian agent.
No, for sure. I'm just being sarcastic, saying, why is it for 4 years Russia stopped all of their incursions when under Bush, Obama, and Biden, it was a all-you-can-eat buffet in the Russian hemisphere?
Probably something relating to Russian politics. I'm not sure.
Okay, no, but this is the point, is that the answer is that Trump was a peace president, unlike the den of thieves that are currently running this country.
I don't know if I would call a peace president someone who drops a Moab to kill terrorists in, where was it? It was ISIS, I believe, right? He just dropped a Moab on that mother... Which is pretty cool. Keep in mind.
No, I mean, I do want to ask a question. What is a terrorist?
A terrorist is someone who, well, commits terrorist acts, bombings, shootings.
Sure.
Let's see, what else?
So should those people be...
Well, if they're threatening the life of their fellow countrymen, then probably, yeah.
Okay, so we have no moral difference on that.
No, but I think it's interesting that you call him a peace president when he does that. You excuse this military action and call him a peace president even though... I'm not saying that the target was not justified, keep in mind.
Fair enough, no. But again, he did not start a new conventional ground war where every president in the last 40 years, including Reagan, has. That's very noteworthy. And so you asked a question...
That's not true. Obama didn't. Obama didn't. Biden didn't. Biden pulled out. Bush did. I don't remember Clinton starting a national war. As a matter of fact, Clinton didn't. No, like, what is he talking about? 30 years? Come on now, dude. You're stupid.
Question, what makes Trump different? I'll tell you one thing, which I think is important. If Trump was like all the rest of them, they would not have impeached him twice, indicted him 4 times, and he would not have to survive the assassination attempts that he has. There's something different about Trump. because he threatens to expose and uproot the entire cabal and the cartel that has been making everybody in this audience poorer and them richer.
The same cabal that allowed him to become a billionaire?
It's a good point. Like the same, he plays into the same system. Like you, that's a good that was a fire back point to him. Yeah, like Trump already said it. He said, "I know the system is rigged because I use it." Even though we thought that was honest, it's still he uses the system. So if the cabal, is part of the problem, isn't Trump an accelerator of that? And everything that he's doing within his policies now, isn't he accelerating it to a degree?
Well, him becoming a billionaire was building great hotels and buildings, not
Right, off of a loan from his father.
Right, yeah, okay. It's also, I mean, this is interesting. People criticize the loan. If I gave you $1 million, could you turn it into $5 billion?
Probably not.
So it's pretty talented for Trump to turn $1 million into $5 billion, yeah?
Well, when you come from a dynasty of businessmen, it's kind of expected you pick it up.
Okay, easy. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Easy to minimize the success of entrepreneurs when people have built nothing in their life. So, what would convince you that he is? What would, if you would say, I'm now convinced that he's for me? What would that be?
Well, Well, if I wanted him to be for me, I would probably want him to make college free. I think it's ridiculous that we have to pay for a higher education in the first place.
Yeah, so wait, hold on. Yeah. Guys, it's really,
you asked me.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm trying to calm down the crowd, actually. I'm trying to... So, by free, you mean that somebody else pays for your college?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, got it. So, let's just play this out. I didn't go to college.
Okay.
You're in college. Why should I have to pay more in taxes so you go to college? Make the argument.
Civic duty. I would say that being able to fund the education, the higher education, rather.
I see nothing's wrong with what he's saying. Don't you think? Don't you want more citizens to be educated? This is the thing about this country. Like, it's like we're very patriotic until it's actually time to be patriotic. And it's like, okay, all right, do we really want to build? Because China all funds each other. They fund each other. They like the country will fund people to go to other places on the planet in order to get educations. Here we're saying we don't want to fund anybody to get anything, but we want to be the top notch in the world. We should, or at least build an education system that isn't so expensive, so people can actually get educations without going into a significant amount of debt. I mean, I get his point. I get the question.
More people, especially in a modern economy, which is so digitized, things like computers are becoming
What are you studying?
important. I'm currently studying psychology.
Got it. No, it's incredibly interesting because basically what you're saying is those of you that work harder and produce more, you must fork over by force to those that do not work as hard. Yeah?
Would you rather they just keep all their money?
No, he didn't say that. He twisted what he said. He just said basically make college free. Help people who want to go and make better into the world have a free chance to go to college. It's a good idea.
CEOs, billionaires, they just don't pay taxes at all.
I think a reduction of taxes. We already pay the majority. I'm not part of the 1%. We've already paid a majority of the taxes in this country, vast majority of the taxes. And so, what would I prefer? I'd prefer that more people keep your own hard-earned money, and the government shrinks dramatically in its size, because that increases liberty and freedom. Let me tell you what's going to happen, though. It's easy to pick on people like me. One day I'm paying 50%. Soon it will be 60%. Then it'll be 70%, and then they'll come for you, because eventually I'm going to run out of money. And you can laugh and chuckle, but eventually they're going to come for the working class and the middle class. They already are.
They've already come for the working class.
Yeah,
that
you know
has not
why?
changed.
Yeah, because the reservoir is getting dry. Is that eventually...
Right, yes, the reservoir is getting dry.
It's easy to roll...
And they don't just want to, fund more of their doomed programs.
It's easy to roll your eyes, and it's easy to criticize rich people, of which I'm very blessed, and that's fine. But have you ever gotten a job from a poor person?
Sorry, a job from a poor person? They usually create jobs.
Bingo. Rich people create jobs with the money that isn't taxed by the government.
It doesn't have to be a rich person. It could be the government.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
It could be the government. They can make work programs.
Yeah, the
like
government
that.
only creates jobs with the wealth that they extract from the citizenry. The government does not create wealth. The government extracts it, by definition.
Yes.
So, therefore, what I'm saying is that if everyone here wants jobs, it's easy to pick on people like me. It's easy to say, you got to pay more, you got to do more. What is hard is actually to have a mature argument rooted in liberty saying, you can earn a vast majority of what you can keep a vast majority of what you earn, and that we're going to increase freedom and liberty so that you can actually one day be in the 1%.
Yeah, but when you talk about small governments, like what programs will have to be sacrificed? Will it have to be food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid,
Well, how about one
child
we can
tax
agree
credits?
with? Sending money to Ukraine.
Sending money to Ukraine?
We should
Yeah,
stop sending. $200 billion should not be sent to Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't really agree with imperialist wars.
I agree. So there we agree with something.
Of course.
Yeah, there's tons of duplication, waste, fraud, and abuse. We have trillions of dollars unnecessary spending. You're coming after this in a really good perspective and a good faith argument, and I respect that. My closing argument this will be this, which is that a small amount of entrepreneurs make the world a better place. It is so tempting to be filled with envy, as we call in the Christian tradition, covetousness, which is the 10th commandment. I'm not saying you're a Christian, I'm just saying in the Christian tradition, we believe it, to say, you shouldn't have that. I'm going to take that from you. What is hard but actually makes society better is to restrain yourself and say, when you see a big house, don't say, I don't think anybody should live like this. Instead say, I want everybody to live like this. And that is a totally different perspective.
But didn't Jesus also say, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's?
No, for sure. I'm not saying I'm not going to pay taxes. That's a different argument, right? So he was talking about pay your taxes if the government issues you a tax bill, of which I do. I also have the right, given by the country and also biblical principles, to protest that and to speak against it, because then you become a subject to the state. So, last question: do you trust the government?
Absolutely not.
We agree. So then, if you don't trust the government, shouldn't we stop sending so much money to the government?
Well, I prefer if we just had a completely different political framework in the first place.
Fair enough, but I think we can agree that.
Oh, come on! I like
Be
my
nice.
hair.
Be nice. Be nice. We're trying to be respectful.
Nice. I use a lot of product.
I like it. It's good.
Thank you. At least someone.
All right, but here's what I'll say. You come after this in good faith. We agree. You don't trust the government. You want a different political framework. Mm-hmm. My perspective is, therefore, if you don't trust the government, let's stop sending it so much of our hard-earned money. Thank you so much. I got a next question. Thank you.
Yeah, but how else do we fund everything? I mean, like what are is the private sector going to fund everything that we need to fund? Like, capitalism doesn't answer the questions of paying for schools, roads, police departments, Social Security, like the things that you have a luxury to within having a government that can actually fund these things based on the money that we send them. I don't fully disagree with Charlie Kirk on that. I do think that rich people can make more jobs. They can. It's just the statistics don't say that that's what happens. It says they buy back stocks into their company, and they don't really invest in the workers in the company because increases on wages sometimes don't go up. They do sometimes, but they don't all the time. And I don't know. Both sides sound like a good argument. The Republicans make a good argument with supply side economics, but it doesn't seem like the money trickles down. And then Democrats I think they make more of a Keynesian economic argument principle, but I don't think we ever implemented a full Keynesian economic principle except for when we were in economic downturns, like the Great Depression. FDR did Social Security programs, things like that. That's Keynesian economics. I could talk on for days and days. I love economics. It's definitely a topic I like to go into, but hey, that was good. Charlie Kirk, I respect Charlie Kirk, though. I do. I really do. I think Charlie Kirk is definitely good to go to these universities and talk to these kids and get their perspective. So, hey, I'm out. Peace.